Greetings! Today I'd like to just do a quick video talking about what I consider a touchy subject in the IT industry, and that is toxicity. I've been at a new company 3 months and they are a really excellent company to work for. So this video is in no way aimed at them. This video is sort of talking about my own experience about toxicity in the IT industry, and it refers to a job I started in 2007 and I left 3 months ago. Today is the 14th of July 2018, so it's the company I left almost 3 months ago, what I want to talk about, and generally the subjects around that. In my 21 years working in the IT industry, I've only ever really worked for one company that I consider to be toxic, and that's the company I left 3 months or almost 3 months ago. Why do I say that company was toxic? Well, considering the person who owned the company was always referring to trying to run the company like he was running a building site, and he was having continual dig at developers. While I was working for that company, 5 people came and went, and I was number 6. So as you can imagine, people are only staying either a few months or a few weeks. I stuck out for nearly a year. The reason I ended up leaving in the end was, as I've said before in a video, I suffer from anxiety and depression, and working for that particular person was just making that situation even worse. I ended up almost suicidal to near the point where I ended working for them. Got to a point where I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't particularly eating properly, and generally I just felt like shit. So luckily for me, where I'm working now, I had been for an interview with them January this year, 2018. Unfortunately, me being stupid, I originally turned the job down, and they noticed on Indeed that I had updated my CV, so they reapproached me and asked me if I was looking for a job, which I said I was. So luckily I managed to get where I am now, and as I said, where I am now is a wonderful company. It's the polar opposite to where I was. Why do I say that company in particular was toxic? As I said, the guy who owned the company was always on about, oh, if this was a building site, you'd be off. My personal experience with this bloke was the fact that I was involved in a project where I had to take some feeds from PayPal and the customer's stock control system, combine them in Salesforce and produce an output in Salesforce that could be used. Unfortunately, it was a while till we got a lot of the data off the company, and when we got it, I found the original solution I wrote in Salesforce didn't work, even being advised to do it a particular way. So it went horribly wrong, so I ended up having to rewrite it. So I started the rewrite. I knew a week later, at the start of that week, I was on holiday the following week. So it got to the Friday afternoon and it went, oh, we'll test it. Unfortunately, various things went a bit wrong, so instead of just saying, oh, leave it till I came back from holiday, he decided, after talking to one of the other developers who was helping with it, he rang me that Friday night and basically started swearing down the phone at me. So and basically gave me the ultimatum, or as I consider it, blackmail, to basically say I either get the job done in that week, lose my week's holiday, get a job done, or I'm basically gone. So obviously at the time I couldn't afford to be out of work, so I decided to obviously do the work in the afternoon. And then with me not being properly trained on Salesforce by the same company. I mean, no offence to any other developers, I know they were busy, but I really wasn't trained on Salesforce. I'd never seen Salesforce before working there, and to be honest, Salesforce just doesn't behave the way I'd expect any programming language to behave. So, cut a long story short, it got to, luckily between my holiday ending and Christmas, I was only there about 2.5 weeks. I ended up spending a chunk of my Christmas holiday working on the project as well, due to issues with Salesforce. And then after Christmas, due to delays and other things, it got to March, end of March, beginning of April, and it got to the point where it came untenable for me. I found that due to the amount of data I was having to deal with, and obviously, as I said, not being properly trained on Salesforce and how to handle some of the data, the program basically totally died. By this point, I had been going on for weeks to have it tested, so I knew if there was any problems, and basically it led to me having a partial breakdown, as I said, suicidal thoughts, and generally feeling like crap. So this brings us to nearly 3 months ago now. It's about 3.5, 4 months ago now. Obviously I was on holiday. Phone was most of the time on silent, sat on my desk, and I only noticed on the Wednesday night that he'd been trying to ring me. So I took his call, and he basically said that I had to get it working that evening, and my thoughts was, I'm on holiday, Paul. No. I tried my best. Unfortunately, due to various problems and me feeling, as I said, like crap, I just ended up giving up at 8 o'clock. Following morning, I rang my doctors, and again, on that morning, he carried on ringing me. I said to him, look, I'm off to a doctor's because of my depression and my anxiety. He carried on ringing me. So we now get to the Friday. The doctor on the Thursday gave me a sick note, put me on sick. So with depression, anxiety, and so I handed the sick note in on the Friday. Come the Saturday, all I got from him was the fact that it was endless calls that Saturday. I texted him just saying, please leave me alone. I'll email you the details over sometime over the weekend. He carried on ringing me. So this takes us to the point of me almost having a nervous breakdown. So at this point, I basically was on sick for nearly a month, and as I said, luckily in that time I managed to get another job elsewhere, and speaking frankly, I feel a lot better now. I'm a lot happier. But this brings me back to the topic of this video, which is toxicity in the IT industry. This is really only the first company I've really come across it. I worked for somebody else a few years ago where it was sort of like that, but hindsight looking at it now with that one, it wasn't so much toxicity, it was other things. But as I said, with this bloke and this company, it really was a toxic environment. All he would do was have a go at people, humiliate them in front of everybody else. As I said, he was ringing me, swearing at me down the phone, and he did this. It wasn't just once he did this multiple times. So in my opinion, this company is really, really, really toxic, and it's I mean, luckily for most people, they'll most probably never come across a toxic company they work for, but unfortunately in my case, I ended up working for a company that was seriously toxic. After I left, previous companies I've worked for who have had staff pages, details are gone within 2, maybe 3 weeks. It took me 2.5 months and the threat of legal action to get my details removed. Even though I had left there, I had nothing to do with them, I had my P45, I had started a new job, but no, all he did was keep my details on there, and I know why he did it. It was to make the company look like it actually had more staff than it did. I mean, I really don't know what... I'm trying not to say the name of the company, because obviously, though I've given you his first name, Paul, I'm trying not to give the name of the company away, so I don't affect the company as a whole, and I don't affect the people who's remaining there. Everybody else who works there are all nice people. I respect every single one of them. I just don't respect him anymore. I think he's a bully. I mean, classic example of his bullying was, I'm a vegetarian, so he would make constant jokes every day about me being a vegetarian, and that's another thing that led me to almost having a nervous breakdown. Then, as I said, he basically started on about, oh, I over-engineer things, oh, it takes me a long time to do things. Yes, it might take me slightly longer to do things, but the reason it takes me slightly longer to do things is I'm dyslexic, and with certain things that I've never done before, it might take me more time to actually figure out how to do them. Effectively, I'm a web and application developer using .NET framework, either VB or C#. C# primarily nowadays, not as much with VB. But as I said, I was given very little training on Salesforce by this particular company, and I think this particular person, who I believe now is the technical manager, he was the owner at one point, but I believe the business has been bought out by somebody else, and he's been kept on as the technical manager. But yeah, as I said, offered no training courses on Salesforce, offered only sort of trained by the head developer there and one of the other developers, and as I said, I think he was expecting somebody to be able to walk in and pick up Salesforce like this, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and as I said, unfortunately it led to me almost having a nervous breakdown and doing something silly, shall we say. As I said, now I'm fine. It's nearly 3 months later. I've been working for a new company for the best part of 2.5 months, and yeah, it's a lot better. In myself I'm a lot better, and generally I feel a lot better. But as I said, I've only ever really come across this one company so far, working for the past 21 years in the IT industry, that I could say the company is toxic. Every other IT company I've worked for, or every company I've worked in an IT department for, has been terrific. I can't fault most of them. I've got a bit, yeah, okay, I'll say I've got a bit pissed off occasionally and left for various reasons, but none of them were reasons as in this one was, where, as I said, I consider this particular company to be seriously toxic. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I've got off my chest what I wanted to say, and I was going to say thank you for watching. Comment below and subscribe if you like this video. Thank you.